So we've got the Blueberry Orlegui here, made by Florentino Martinez Monje out of Rioja Alta. Really fantastic wine here. Has some carbonic maceration on there, which adds a lovely sort of fresh, sort of like vivacity to it. Makes it super approachable, a great gastronomical wine, something that can be paired with just about anything. This is something that I brought to the table today because to me it kind of offers or represents what Rioja is about in terms of both value at any given price point, but honestly just straight up delicious wine. Super diverse in what it can do and fits into a lot of different wine programs, whether you're at a wine bar, whether you're a retail shop. But it's really cool too that this sort of thing was traditional in Rioja Alavesa.
Really beautiful.
It's so pretty. I mean, it's just such a pretty wine. Another wine that really invites to another sip. Take another sip.
This is Marques de Murrieta Castillo. Easily one of the all-time best, in my opinion, Rioja that exist. Marques de Murrieta, one of your old guard families, will rival Bordeaux, will rival some of the best wines of Italy. In fact, this wine will rival, in my opinion, some of the best reds in the world. Elongated aging, you have purely American oak, and it absolutely shows. You get the dill screaming at you. You get that hoisin, that sweet, that sour. But what is so remarkable is it's full-bodied. It feels full-bodied without being full-bodied.
You bring this to a party, and you're the life of the party.
You have to want to share it to bring it to a party.
This wine was it for me. Everything clicked whenever you had this wine, and if this is truly a stunning wine, it is truly world-class.
The wine that I chose for us today was the Marques de Tomares. This is a 100% Graciano from the 2014 vintage, so it's a Reserva. It's a winery that I discovered a few years ago and I fell in love with in terms of their style. The winery was established in 1886 by Don Roman Montaña, and the fourth generation is now tending to the nearly over 100 hectares of vineyards that they own, their family-owned vineyards, that you can find at a fantastic price for some of like the Reservas and Gran Reservas. And I think one of the few wineries that still has co-planted Viura within the vineyards, and they co-ferment also as well with the Mazuelo in their crianzas and reservas. So
some really lovely spice on there.
Yeah, you forget about it, right? When you think of Rioja, you're thinking of like the art of blending, Tempranillo being the main, but like, you know, Graciano sometimes it gets underlooked, and I think it's a grape that has such great potential and such elegance. So yeah, terrific wine.
I would have a fun time. Rioja's on my list specifically because they're not Tempranillo, right? You know, Matarrana Tinta, Graciano, and just messing with people, right? Great wine, really lovely.
Yeah, I think, you know, for somebody that's looking for something quite interesting, that on the lighter side, brighter, like with the textural as well, Graciano is a really good grape. And you know, it rivals Mencia and Nebbiolo. There's some interesting choices that you can actually pair with this.
So the wine that I chose for today is the La Rioja Alta, the Gran Reserva 904 from 2011 vintage, and I love this wine. This is a blend of Tempranillo and 10% Graciano, and the elegance in this wine, one of the things I think of when I think of Rioja in general is this is a wine that I would recommend to a young collector. Because when we think of classic regions, Bordeaux, Burgundy, Piemonte, Rioja is right up there, but without costing like the rest of these regions. So if you're starting your cellar, what a great bang for your buck. It's giving you everything in terms of flavor, history, ageability. This sees no new oak, it's all neutral, and it shows. It's just pure elegance, and I can't wait for my esteemed panelists to tell me what they think.
The first word that comes to my mind is finesse. It's just like, it's such a refined and elegant and silky and beautiful wine. It really is.
It's also representing the new generation of winemakers in this region, going a little bit against the grain. This is Bodegas Vilar. This is Tinto 2019. The winemaker is David San Pedro. It's a blend of Tempranillo, Garnacha, and Viura. And it's very important to mention Viura in the field blends of Rioja because it's the white grape that was always blended in their cuvées.
I see it as just an example of like what the diversity of Rioja can show, right? You have all the tradition and the history, but now you have like this new generation and you have these styles that I wish people would go out and seek more because, you know, because they're just so eye-opening and vibrant and fresh and light.
And I love the nod to Viura as well because that is it totally lifts the bouquet, really helps, and it adds just this lovely like vivacity and really this lovely energy, and it's very traditional. It's super true to Rioja.
When you think about the history of Rioja, and that's where people like David San Pedro, Telmo Rodriguez are going back to that style called cosecheros that predates the influence of Bordeaux.
Like, it doesn't matter whether it's the $20 Rioja or whether it's the $150 Rioja. It always represents a value. It's got several different faces. It's got that Bordeaux influence going way back, obviously going back to Floxer and all of that. But at the same time, you're having a lot of these wineries kind of recapture old Rioja. There's always something in Rioja that you can find and put in front of someone.
Key element of like introducing Rioja to one of your wine lists is that the wines are basically aged for you. Yeah. No other region has that.
Okay, if you want to sit just under that 100, it's so easy to do with Rioja. Yeah. So easy to do. You can even find Gran Reservas that you can do that with, which is, there's no other category like that.
We can bring in the young, youthful wine drinker that wants natural driven wines, that want less manipulated wines. And it's an exciting time for wines of Rioja, I think, because you have energy, you have youthfulness, you have the movement of going back to the past and respecting tradition.
So maybe we'll sum it in one word: legendary. You know, they're legendary wines.
That works.
That's it.
That works.